come on, we're all grown-ups here. Yeah, we may have our favourite game system out of the big players, but let's not be fanboys about it. This version has 60 frames a second. This version has better shadows. Who gives a shit? If you ask me, it's all down to the games. However, you can't blame our young impressionable minds. These multi-million-dollar companies pump some serious money into brainwashing you to think this way. Which brings me to probably the most interesting and funniest propaganda marketing method used by a company to try and get you to switch sides to their console that I have ever seen. Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Ibbertson and welcome to the worst mascot ever. Easily the biggest middle finger to the competition has to be this. Sure, it only lasted one day, but it set huge ripples on the playground and media to this day. We still talk about it as if we was the ones who originally saw it. About half a decade later, Sega did it again.
Hey! You still don't have a Sega CD? Huh? What are you waiting for, Nintendo to make one? You have seen the games, right? Wrong answer, man. Show them!
Now this is where it all gets a little bit hazy for this particular story. Apparently, although I've struggled to find any evidence of this, Sega had claimed that they had just released the first ever CD-based add-on console. For the sake of NEC, let's say they did in some random forgotten interview somewhere. And if this is true, hold up a second, NEC technically got in there before them. Yet, the CD-ROM 2 actually beat Sega to the punch by about 3 years. And they even had the Turbo Duo, an all-in-one unit and karaoke machine, released before Sega's launch of the Sega CD in America. Only by 5 days, but hey, whatever, they were first. Plus the all-in-one Sega system wouldn't be seen for at least another year. So doing what all good marketing companies do, TTI went ahead and took a leaf from the book of Sega and created a pretty unique marketing tactic directly pointing a finger at the big blue. The plan was to make sure that the world knew that the newly released Sega CD, that's Mega CD if you're watching this in the UK, was just an outdated system compared to the already released Turbo Duo, as well as promote the game Gates of Thunder. And they did this by creating a short-run comic strip directly mocking Sega. Sorry, did I say Sega? They couldn't get away with that, as you're about to see. I present to you Johnny Turbo. Here he is, guys, an overweight G.I. Joe nerd with a machine gun, TTI's failed and last attempt at a mascot that would stand against the big boys and grab hold of some of that video game pie that the likes of Sega and Nintendo have been hogging for far too long. Did they give him a game? No. But instead, they turned him into a faker-destroying comic book hero who ended up having 3 mini-comics in Computer Game Monthly. And yes, your ears didn't trick you. I did in fact say faker, not Sega. Faker! That is how low they stooped. This is the first issue.
Johnny Turbo, Episode 43, The Master Plan. Fecca Incorporated is implementing its dastardly plan to convince the unsuspecting public that they have created the first and only CD game system.
So what's the status of our master plan?
The plan is working perfectly, sir. Everyone thinks that our game system is the first ever of its kind. They love us.
Meanwhile, at the home of computer expert Jonathan Brandsetter.
Hey Tony, you've got to see this new game for the Turbo Duo. It's called Gate of Thunder, and it's got the arcade feel. It's great.
I'm sure it is, Johnny, but I think you'd better listen to what's on the radio right now.
List just in. Faker's new CD game system, which they claim to be the first and only system of its kind, is causing quite a commotion downtown.
I can't believe this, Tony! They keep saying that their game system is the first and only system of its kind, but it's not! The Turbo Duo was available before Fakers was.
And Turbo Duo CD games are much more intense than Fakers.
Exactly! They got every kid in this city convinced that the Fakers CD game system is the only one in town.
Well, is there anything we can do to stop them?
I'm not sure, but I've got to do something to loosen their grip off the minds of the public.
Out in the streets, kids are flocking to buy what they think is the first CD game system available.
Yes, kids, that's right. Our system is the first ever CD game system on the market. We'll even give you some free CD games. So step right up and buy one now. We're making a killing on these kids. And it's a good thing nobody knows the real truth about us. Because if people knew that the Turbo Duo was already out, with games already available, we'd be in big trouble.
Hey, kids!
Huh?
Kids, listen! Don't let them mislead you! The Turbo Duo is the first CD game system on the market, and they're giving you games that we already have! Why, we released Sherlock Holmes on CD almost 2 years ago!
Hey, it's Johnny Turbo, and he's trying to ruin our master plan!
I'm bringing out the truth about whose CD system was here first! Admit it! The Turbo Duo was available first, and our games are more intense than yours!
You're gonna pay for this, Johnny Turbo!
Oh my god, they're not even human!
Turbo, save the day!
This guy's throwing a wrench into our master plan. The game's not over yet, Johnny Turbo.
And there you have it, guys, the first issue of Johnny Turbo, the overweight, combat-wearing, sideways cap-turning Turbo Duo fanboy Avenger against Sega. It's a pretty weird idea on how to sell your game system, and as we all know, it obviously didn't work.
Episode 44, Johnny Turbo in Let 'Em Dangle.
Now even with issue 2, yes, issue 2, the numbers that they give on the front of the comics mean nothing. It pushes the propaganda marketing even further, where they rip on Sega even more and claim that the company was tricking kids to buy the Sega CD without letting them know that they're still going to be needing their Genesis in the first place.
Come on, kid. It's only $299, and you'll be the coolest kid on the block. What are you waiting for? You could be playing CD games right now. But first, you'll have to give us another $100 for the Faker 16-bit system. Ha 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 ha.
Again, this is something I can't find any proof of Sega saying ever. They have never done this as far as I can tell. In fact, here is an advert I played earlier on in this very episode that plainly says, it's only for Genesis. But never fear, everyone's favourite console mascot returns to kick ass and even give a little review at the end.
Hey gamers! Even though most of my time is spent jacking up those Faker goons, I still take time out to review the latest CD games from TTI. So check out Laws of Thunder, my Turbo Duo Game of the Month!
Johnny Turbo, Sleepwalker, episode number 45.
I feel like I've seen this design before. Anyway, this one is, well, it's pretty hard to explain. Look, I'll just leave it up to you guys to piece together.
Late at night at the home of Jonathan Brandstetter.
Heading to bed already, Tony?
Well, yeah, spending the whole day in the kitchen can really make you tired.
Good night, Tony.
Good night, Jonathan.
Tony! Listen to me, Tony!
Johnny Turbo, is that you?
You must tell the world about my newest games.
Holy microprocessors! What game is this?
Gate of Thunder. It's one of the most advanced CD shooters for the Turbo Duo.
Just look at those graphics! I've never seen anything like it before, and the soundtrack, it really rocks!
My chosen one, you haven't seen anything yet.
You mean there's more?
I give you Lords of Thunder.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh, this game is so incredible. I've got to tell Jonathan.
Get a hold of yourself, boy. There's still more you need to know. On your 3-1 disc, there's a secret game.
A secret game?
Just press up, right, down, left, and then button 2, and you'll have Pac-Man.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to remember. I just can't contain myself. Jonathan! Jonathan, I've got to tell you about this dream I had. The games, the graphics, the secret codes.
Now just relax, Tony, and tell me all about it.
The end. Even for TTI Johnny Turbo standards, that last one got even more ridiculous. Now, like I said, this short-lived advertising last-ditch effort of a mascot for a failing system only had the free mini-comics, and nothing else, especially a game. Why they didn't continue using Bonk as the mascot is beyond me. I suppose they wanted something new for a new system. Who knows, right? Where the hell did they get the inspiration for such a weird character? If only someone knew.
Computers aren't the only platform for optical storage technology. CDs are now showing up on game consoles and as portable information managers. Here to show us some examples are John Brandstetter of Turbo Technologies, also with us Les Ininci of Sony.
Yep, your eyes are not fooling you. Johnny Turbo actually exists. He is real, and here he is trying to sell you a Turbo Duo. And Lords of Thunder again.
And what kind of game is Lords of Thunder?
Lords of Thunder is a shooting game, which we call a VHD shooter, which is a new term that we're coming out with. And it's a sort of graphics, sight, and sound.
VHD stands for?
Vertical, horizontal, and diagonal. Because the game actually goes in all directions.
The legend goes that Jonathan Brandstetter was part of the team at TTI, and it's believed that the Turbo Duo was going to fail anyway, so the marketing team might as well use this last-ditched attempt to sell the system to basically just take the piss out of this guy. A bit of an easy target really by the looks of things, and thanks to what I can only describe as bully marketing, this poor guy is now attached to probably the worst attempt of a video game company's mascot ever. The funniest thing is that before all of this, Jonathan Brandstetter actually worked on a few Sega titles. The craziness of it all. Even his nerdy and possibly lover in the comics, Tony, also existed. And here are his credits at the end of Bonk. Like I said, a far better mascot for the Turbo Duo that was being used up to this point. The whole idea just seemed too weird not to talk about. Why did the guys behind the Turbo Duo 2 feel they had the upper hand just because their system came out first? And why use games like Sherlock Holmes and Gates of Bloody Thunder as the main selling point? What the hell did this guy do to deserve all of this? Let's be honest, if Sega got wind of this and wanted to fight back with their catalogue of games, then TTI wouldn't have had a chance. But hey, I can't deny it. Whilst researching this, I've actually grown quite fond of Johnny Turbo and his faker destroying ways. Let's hope this video and the website Siderius Experience, which is where I first discovered Johnny Turbo, have helped spread the word of Jonathan Brandstetter and Johnny Turbo even further. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video on the worst mascot ever. If you're watching this over on my channel or Larry Bundy's channel, click either of the links up there to subscribe or check out some of our previous videos. But for now, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.